can forget Tom Cruise screaming, "Show me the money" in Jerry Maguire? Well, that seems to be the very dialogue broadcaster Sony is having with advertisers, considering IPL 6 is round the corner. With Season 4 and Season 5 ratings taking a massive hit, advertisers and sponsors are no longer willing to pay the premiums Sony is demanding. In fact, this is the first season where Sony has had to succumb to pressure and drop its rates. But are advertisers still interested? What are the demands being made? Is IPL's future in jeopardy? And more importantly, what can Sony do to convert this loss-making proposition into a match-winning formula? Don't forget, they have only 5 years to do so. Tara Kapoor brings you all these answers.
Rewind to 18th April 2008, when IPL first began. There were flashing lights, glitzy uniforms, tons of adrenaline-pumping action, glamorous troops of Bollywood and cricketing stars, and thousands of adoring fans. It seemed like Lalit Modi's brainchild, the Indian Premier League, had a never-ending success formula.
I lived a dream that India could have a sports league that could be envied by the whole world.
But fast forward to 2013, and the cricketing league that created huge waves in Indian sports is now just about managing a ripple. In 2011, the tournament began immediately after India won the World Cup, and IPL 4 faced the brunt of cricket fatigue. Last year, IPL 5 began after many embarrassing defeats for Team India in England, Australia and the Asia Cup, and consequently, the tournament was impacted by the negative sentiment around the sport. And it doesn't look like this year will be any different.
Max may have rationalized a rate to kind of make it more affordable and maybe, to get, encourage advertisers to kind of buy onto it. But I think there is a bit of a restraint still, especially with the light of the fact that it's a bit of a low-key, conversation on IPL. The auction was not really so successful.
Marketers are asking themselves that question a lot harder than they probably did earlier, is that can I really put aside so much money, so much, such a big part of my advertising budget just for one event? And unless there's a really compelling reason to do that, a lot of clients will actually choose to say that, no, do I really need to spend the money now? Or can I actually wait for this monster to pass?
The real blow for Setmax came last year, when the broadcaster refused to budge on rates, leaving a bitter taste in many advertisers' mouths.
We're not going to drop a price. You need to understand, we've got these rights for another 5 years. So we're not going to drop rates at this situation, because the stakes for us are also very, very high in this. And that will never happen.
The 5 to 5.25 lakh rupee per 10 seconds price tag proved to be too steep for many advertisers last year. And big brands like LG, Maruti and Godrej gave the tournament a miss, leaving almost 25% of inventory unsold. As a result, Setmax has reduced rates this time around to 4 to 4.25 lakh rupees per 10 seconds, the same as IPL 4.
Once we realized somewhere midway during last year that the ratings are not going to increase too much, though our business plan had assumed a growth in ratings and subsequently a growth in rates. Now we've realized that over 2 years the the ratings have been similar, flat. I think we've also had to look at a course correction, because last year, if you look at Season 4, when you compare, we went with the full 100% sellout. Last year, because of the rate being very high and, spot buys touching about 5.5 lakh rupees, we did not have a 100% sellout. We upfront come and said that, okay, there'll be a rate reduction. So the outlays come down and it becomes a far more attractive buy.
But advertiser sentiment is still very low. Just to put things into perspective, the BCCI hasn't managed to rope in any more on-ground sponsors since November last year, when Pepsi signed on as the new title sponsor in a whopping 398 crore deal for the remaining 5 years. This was after realty behemoth DLF refused to renew its 200 crore rupee contract. As for Setmax, even with a 15 to 20% cut on rates this year and a simulcast on Setmax, Sony 6 and Sony 6 HD, the broadcaster has only managed to rope in 3 associate sponsors: Pepsi, Vodafone and Tata Docomo. These brands all doled out approximately 30 to 40 crore rupees apiece for an associate sponsorship deal. The broadcaster was hoping to rope in 10 associate sponsors before the season begins. But with less than 2 months to go, the picture looks pretty bleak. In fact, brands that are cricket loyalists and have advertised on IPL in the past, like Godrej, Samsung, Micromax and Maruti, are all still sitting on the fence and playing the procrastinating game with the broadcaster.
As far as this year is concerned, the coming year is concerned, yes, we are discussing with the property of IPL, but we have not yet concluded our terms, etc. Now, as far as last year is concerned, when we look at the effectiveness of that particular cost, which was our agency advised us not to go ahead with that. And we go by that. The council takes a call whether to invest with the IPL or not on a year-to-year basis.
As far as Micromax is concerned, we took our punt as well. The last couple of years, we actually haven't bought sponsorships. We actually looked at deals where either we looked at alternate matches or basically having spots in every third match. It's not easy for any brand to spend over 35-40 crores in just 2 months, especially when you have audiences bouncing in and out of such a premiere.
This puts Setmax in a bit of a precarious situation, as the broadcaster went all out to acquire the IPL broadcasting rights for a whopping 8,700 crore rupees. Unless they're able to bring IPL ratings back to the highs the tournament witnessed during IPL 1 and IPL 3, what was supposed to be a cash cow of sorts will turn out to be a loss-making proposition.
I think they're completely overrated. The kind of rates which are being commanded by the broadcasters, maybe because of the kind of investment they themselves are putting onto the event, is very high. They need to rationalize, with their back end, with people who are kind of selling the rights to them, to be able to kind of ensure that they're able to pass on to advertiser a much lesser rate than what they're doing right now.
Last year, IPL hit a record low in ratings, sending out warning signals to all its stakeholders. However, IPL 6 could buck this trend, given that cola giant Pepsi is going all out to raise the excitement levels. The second being that there are no big-ticket properties attempting to take on IPL, a blessing in disguise which could raise advertiser interest closer to the start of the tournament.